a lone scientist descending into the radioactive darkness of Chernobyl in 1986. A bus in Levallois, Paris, France, 1950s. A Leningrad prison cell, Russia, 1991. Photo by Hans-Jürgen Burkhardt. An unidentified African-American demonstrator crouches for protection against blows from a white man in front of a segregated Nashville restaurant on May 1, 1964. Windows 95 Video Guide. Rare early production, F4U-1 initiates side-slip maneuver during a flight over Guadalcanal, 1943. On October 14, 1940, a German bomb struck the road above Balham Underground Station, near Clapham Park in London, creating a crater that a waiting double-decker bus fell into. German prisoners of war near Stalingrad, 1943. C. 1877, Winnie Monroe worked as a cook and nurse to the Hayes children in the White House during the administration of President Rutherford B. Hayes. Portrait artist Anna Ladd gave new faces to World War I veterans, casts of soldiers' faces with horrific wounds, bottom models of their new faces. The Parachute Tower on the Coney Island waterfront, 1960s. A state police officer with the club in hand overtakes a white segregationist as African Americans attempted to swim and were attacked by a large group of whites at St. Augustine Beach, Florida, on June 25, 1964. A walk on a Moscow evening in October 1993. "19-year-old Brigitte Bardot on the beach during the Cannes Film Festival, 1953. Little Angela Merkel. In the 1930s, the issue of child safety was viewed much more simply in the United Kingdom. Serving a snack on Scandinavian Airlines Flight 1969. Marilyn Monroe smiles while dancing with Truman Capote in the Club Morocco, New York for the premiere House of Flowers, 24 of March 1955. Wing of the Hughes, 4. Hercules, also known as the Spruce Goose, being transported down a highway, 1946. The children and adults of the village of Vasilenka fell on their knees in gratitude before George McClintock, an ARA inspector who arrived with a load of corn. Samara Province, 1922. Three women show off their own versions of the popular poodle skirt in the 1950s. "22-year-old Mariah Carey married her boss in 1993. Homeless children on the streets of Moscow, Russia, 1995. Marilyn Monroe in a date with fellow co-star Tommy Retting of the film River of No Return here in the premiere of the film The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, 11 of October 1953. Thousands attend a rally on the grounds of the Washington Monument in Washington on April 17, 1965, to hear Ernest Gruening, a Democratic senator from Alaska, and other speakers discuss United States policy in Vietnam. Some gentlemen posing with a Stutz Bearcat racer, Fresno, California, around 1916. A woman with a Viewtone television featuring a 7-inch screen at a New York City department store in 1945. This set, retailing for $100, was considered the first moderately priced receiver produced in quantity at the time. A veteran of the Union Army shakes hands with a Confederate veteran at the Gettysburg celebration in Pennsylvania, 1913. "1920s, marriage portrait from Mongolia." Maori woman, Torua, New Zealand, between 1900 and 1920. Group of children in costume showing the allies of the British during World War I. Claudia Cardinale feeds spaghetti to stray cats at the Pantheon, Rome, Italy, 1963. Anglo-Iranian oil company vehicle, 1950s. Hitler apparently giving Speer some kind of award, March-June 1943. Winston Churchill and his aunt, Dublin, 1880. Yuan Shikai as crowned Chinese emperor, 1915. Freaky high school fashion of the hippie era, 1969. Pedestrians crossed the destroyed Hue Bridge in Hue, Vietnam in an undated photo. Canadian soldiers prepare for a friendly hockey match on Korea's Imjin River during the Korean War, 1951. Barrels of beer emptied into the sewer by authorities during Prohibition. The first microwave oven 1947. Autochrome shot of a Bosnian lady showing off her tattoos 1916. Dressed for New Year's and carrying gifts, a servant and young boy walk down the streets of old San Francisco Chinatown pre-1906. Sean Connery goofing off on the set of You Only Live Twice. After Italy was liberated in 1945, an elderly Italian grandmother expresses her thanks to an American soldier. At the Registry Office, Uzbekistan, 1925. Ronald Reagan and Virginia Mayo perform in She's Working Her Way Through College, 1952. Aleister Crowley, 1875-1947, was an English occultist, poet, artist, writer and mountaineer, known as a black magician and Satanist. Beanie Babies? These tiny stuffed animals became a global craze, 1990s. In 1985, a Colombian found herself trapped in a volcanic mud flow, her body submerged up to her waist. Despite the efforts of rescuers, she succumbed to her situation after enduring 60 hours of suffering. A locomotive and 2 coaches of the Atlantic and Railroad exhibit near Baltimore, Maryland, November 1927. The body of an American soldier being raised up to an evacuation chopper during the Vietnam War photo taken by Henry Hewitt in 1966. A man loses his umbrella on a windy, snowy day, 1962. The Ohio National Guard moves in on rioting students at Kent State University in Kent, Ohio on May 4, 1970. A serviceman has some fun swapping clothes with his wife. 1943. Robert Wadlow, the tallest man in the world, he was 8 feet 11 inches. Extremely rare photo of him in a courtroom from 1939. Actor Christopher Walken in the 70s. Prohibition, men collectively pour out whiskey, United States, 1931. Laura Dern on the set of Wild at Heart, 1990. Marlon Brando on the set of The Wild One, 1950s. Human cannon. Mary Connors flies across the River Avon in Bristol, England, August 1974. A local woman stands among the destruction in Sarajevo, Bosnia, 1994. Young woman working out in a plastic sweatsuit in the 1950s. Private Eugene V. Weber handing a little girl a stick of chewing gum in the town of Asselborn, Luxembourg in 1944. Segregated seating. At the Orange Bowl, January of 1956, Kodachrome slide. Two brothers at their joint wedding, 1970s. Jeannie, born 1957, is the pseudonym of an American feral child who was a victim of severe abuse, neglect, and social isolation. Her circumstances are prominently recorded in the Annals of Linguistics and Abnormal Child Psychology, a computer literacy lesson at a kindergarten in Šiauliai, Lithuania, 1988. Gudrun with her father, Heinrich Himmler, 1938. Poultry trade at a market in Bucharest, Romania, 1928. Napalm air strikes raised clouds into grey monsoon skies as houseboats glide down the Perfume River toward Hue in Vietnam on February 28, 1963. A Bountiful Catch, Russia, 1924. The right arm and torch of the Statue of Liberty on display at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. A beluga caught in the Caspian Sea, 1910, displayed at V.F. Bobkov's shop on Balchug, weighed 1,152 kilograms, 72 poods. Buddhist priests at Asakusa Temple during a civil defense exercise to prepare for possible Chinese air attacks on Tokyo, Japan, May 30, 1936. Paris, circa 1900. Two cars nearly plunged into the Derwent River after a crash on the Tasman Bridge in Hobart, January 5, 1975. Young lady posing with a very early Lawson motorcycle model, with a top speed of 19 km per hour circa 1897. A German soldier and his French girlfriend in the occupied Paris, 1942. Claudia Cardinale and Jean-Paul Belmondo in La Viaccia, 1961. Kurt Cobain, 1981, looking like a shy 14-year-old playing in a school band. Henry Lamotte celebrates his 70th birthday by jumping 15 meters into a barrel of water, 1974. The crew of the USS Texas with a kitten and puppy, the ship's mascots circa 1900. Four-Power Summit Conference, West German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer, French President Charles de Gaulle, United States President Dwight Eisenhower, and British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan. Paris, Élysée Palace, December 19, 1959. Italian dictator Benito Mussolini visits a wounded Italian soldier during World War II. The photograph was censored and banned from publication due to the soldier's frightened appearance. 1941. Winston Churchill is a war correspondent in South Africa in 1900. When Cleveland released 1.5 million balloons, 1986. Himmler and Gudrun visiting Dachau concentration camp. Apparatus for fixing a broken jaw, 19th century. Balloonfest 86 was a 1986 event in which the United Way of Cleveland in Ohio set a world record by releasing almost 1.5 million balloons. Police hold back a mass of young Beatles fans outside Buckingham Palace in London, where the pop group received their MBEs, October 26, 1965. Napoleon's three-chamber box-lock pistol, 1802. Arsen Yordanov demonstrates the Vzdushna Vzglavnitsa airbag he created for passenger planes, 1957. A 300-pounder parrot gun with a blown barrel, Morris Island, South Carolina, 1863. Andre the Giant drinking a glass of white wine in 1976. Chinese Americans protesting against iron shipments to Japan in 1939. Shakira, 1990s. Women's Prison, New Orleans, 1963. Young Julia Roberts. A teacher instructs a segregated class of black students at a poorly funded one-room school in Georgia, 1941. West African children with freshly caught bats, Northern Province, Sierra Leone, 1968. An early gym machine, Stockholm, circa 1857. Adolf Hitler talking to Yugoslav Princess Olga, 1939. An apartheid notice on a beach near Cape Town, 1974. The funeral procession of King Leopold II of Belgium on December 22, 1909. Leopold is infamous for his atrocities in the Congo. One of 5,000 glass negatives produced by Roberto Donetta in the early 1900s of a Swiss village in Blenheim Valley. Leni Riefenstahl on the set of the film Olympia, 1936. The evening after the Christmas sales at Macy's department store, New York, 1948. These are survivors of the infamous 1972 Andes plane crash. Stranded for 72 days in the snow, they resorted to cannibalism as their only means of survival. A fractured city block in Anchorage, Alaska, on March 28, 1964. Ladies at the races, Hippodrome de Longchamp, Paris, 1908. Natalie Wood on the set of Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, 1969. World War I veteran with mask from Anne Coleman Ladd Studio in Paris. Halloween, Florida, United States, 1954. Military police, reinforced by army troops, throw back anti-war demonstrators as they tried to storm a mall entrance doorway at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. on October 21, 1967. Jodie Foster during her brief time as a member of a flock of seagulls, 1984. Danny Trejo. A black girl and a white girl joining hands while riding the bus together during the initial phases of the integration of the school system in Boston, Massachusetts, September 15, 1975. Pope John Paul II fishing, 1950s. The beginning of the cell phone era, a girl talking on a Motorola Dynatac mobile phone, 1983. The Black American upper class of the 1900s